Hey there, welcome to the Gyro Step, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and the Gyro Step Podcast Network. I am Ti Windisch, and I am joined as always by my investigative co-host, Rohan Katti. Rohan, how's it going?
Doing well. It's a chilly Sunday afternoon as we're recording this. Winter is finally hit in Wisconsin. What else is there to do besides just talk Bucks basketball then? I mean, I guess the Packers, but
I was going to say, David Bakhtiari's triumphant return happening right now. I'm sure he's blocking the hell out of the ball. Number 69, putting on a nice showing in his long return.
I think it was last December he tore his ACL, right?
It was. So
we'll leave that to the winning six guys, the Packers guys.
Yeah, our Packers experts. But hopefully the first of two big guys returning to Wisconsin sports teams in 2022, fingers crossed for Brook Lopez to follow Bakhtiari's example. I feel like those guys would get along, but that's an aside. That we're not here to talk about Brook Lopez or David Bakhtiari today.
So we've done both.
We got that out of the way. We're going to talk about the Bucks bench. We're going to investigate the Bucks bench. That's why you are investigative, Rohan. We're going to take a look into how this thing is doing. The Bucks bench. So immediately that means we're not talking about Giannis, Chris, Drew, Bobby, Grayson, at least for now. Those are the starters. We're going to just keep them as the starters. We talk about them all the time. I'm sure whenever we do our next pod, we'll talk about them again. Let's dive into the bench. I think the reason for wanting to do this, and obviously it's not a true indicator of the healthy bench, but last night against Charlotte, Milwaukee's bench managed 5 points, all 5 coming from Sandro Mamukelashvili, who, shout out to him. I mean, that's 5 points from Mamu, not bad. 0 points from everybody else, not good. I have a stat to start this off, though.
Oh, you teased this before we started recording. I'm very excited.
I did tease this. So the Milwaukee Bucks got 18 minutes from Rodney Hood, 16 from Langston Galloway, just about 14 from Semi Ojeleye, and 12 from Mamu, like I said earlier. So the average of that is right around 14 to 15, right? Let's say 14. Do you know how many times DeMarcus Cousins played 14 or more minutes and logged less than 5 points as a Milwaukee Buck?
1? 0?
0 times. Boogie scored 0 3 times, 11 minutes, 13 minutes, and 4 minutes. And otherwise, the lowest, he scored 5 once and then no other times less than 5. His scoring average, I think, was around 9 points, but he did manage double figures 6 different times. And a lot of those were pretty recent games compared to when he was signed. So might have been beneficial to have Boogie around, just saying, but we don't have to dwell on that.
Has proven his worth, though. You know?
Oh, God.
Best of luck to Boogie in Denver.
In Denver, yeah. Shout out to Boogie. But okay, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Just hey, would have helped to have some points in that game. Would have helped to have more than 5.
Yeah,
more than 0 from non-Mamu.
No interior defense.
Yeah, it would have been not too bad, is what I'll say. But okay, let's talk about the bench. Let's start at the high end. I think some of these guys we don't have to spend a whole lot of time talking about. Pat Connaughton, I think you would pencil in as essentially the 6th man with that group of starting 5. And we're just going to leave Brook Lopez aside for now because he doesn't seem like he's going to play anytime soon. So, Pat C, is there much to say? I mean, I think this is a good start to the bench, even if he's not your typical 6th man that you would think of, especially in terms of like the award.
No, he's just he's the ideal 6th man, like you mentioned. Maybe not for the award because he's not a microwave scorer off the bench or anything. Basically, he's not Lou Will or Jordan Clarkson, essentially.
Yeah, the two guys, or old school was Jamal Crawford.
Yeah. Hey, maybe not old school. He's still trying. Trying.
I mean, in this NBA, he's probably going to put up a 20-piece
tomorrow.
Joe Johnson. Based on Lance Stevenson.
Oh, my goodness.
He just had a career-high assist game after that scoring game against the Nets. The league is crazy right now.
It is absolutely wild. But no, Pat Connaughton is not that type of guy. But what he is just the ultimate connector, ultimate glue guy. He will do everything. He's multi-positional. You can slot him at the 2. You can slot him in at the 5. They've done that at times this season, and he'll do whatever needs to be done. On his birthday, the Bucks put together a compilation of him getting hit in the face, and if that doesn't scream just gritty bench guy that you want on your team, I don't know what does.
Yeah, and even I think Pat, it feels like has been slumping for most of the last couple weeks, and obviously right now he is in health and safety protocols, unfortunately.
Get well soon, Pat.
Get well soon, Pat. But still, the numbers on the year, 11 points, nearly 5 rebounds, about an assist and a half, 0.7 turnovers, still shooting 48% from the field, 40.3% from deep on 6 attempts per game, and 67.4% from 2. Do you know the only Milwaukee Bucks shooting a better clip than that from 2 this season?
It's Giannis?
It's not Giannis.
Oh, wait.
Pat is shooting like nearly 7 points better than Giannis. It's Wes Matthews who's shooting 68.4% from 2. We'll get to Wes. Talk about a season. But even with the point is, though, with what felt like a cold spell, Pat just elite shooting numbers, strong production. This is his first year, I think, scoring in double figures.
Yes, it is.
And the efficiency has not dovetailed at all. So not a lot to say here. This is a great start to the bench. As you said, Rohan, a very versatile player, plug and play, has started 15 games this year. So he's been a go-to spot starter for the forward spots and sometimes like the 2 guard. He might have started at point guard last night because all the point guards are gone. No problem here. This is good.
No, there's nothing to say here. We've talked about Pat's praises in the past. You especially tweet out Rafters game during Pat's good games. Like there's nothing much that needs to be discussed about Pat. I think we can move on fairly quickly. And I think the next guy we can really talk about, maybe you feel differently, is George Hill.
I am literally just going down a list of minutes per game, and he is the next guy on that list. Actually, Pat plays slightly more than Bobby, but then it's George Hill. So, yeah, I am ready to talk George Hill. I think this should be an interesting discussion.
Okay. So if we're talking about just role on this team, he's not a closer anymore compared to his previous stint. He is a backup point guard who will come in, and he will be a weighted blanket for this team. When Drew Holiday
sounds like a negative. That sounds like a negative.
No, it's good. It's comforting. It's relaxing. It's
also is it holding them down?
No, a weighted blanket is a good thing, Ty.
Okay,
it is.
I actually I'm trying to pull up a stat and see. I don't know if this is going to actually work.
But go ahead. It helps with anxiety and stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So he's just a calming presence, is what I'm trying to say here, Ty. Thanks for ruining my analogy, but. It's just...
Well, I say it because I do think there's people who think it's a negative weighted blanket. There are George Hill detractors this year.
Are there?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes. They let me know often that he just doesn't do anything.
Well, they haven't let me know. But even though his production is a little bit down this season, like what is he averaging? 7.1 points per game this season. I mean, given he's had 12 starts, he's shooting below average from 3. He's at 30.8 on the season right now. He's still shooting well from 2, 57% on 2s. He's getting to the line inconsistently, but when he's there, he's knocking it down. What is he averaging assist-wise? Just 2.4. But then again, he has a lesser role. It's just like he's the ideal backup point guard because theoretically he could be a starter, but you wouldn't feel comfortable with him as a starter, but he's overqualified as a bench guy, if that makes any sense.
See, I don't know if he's overqualified anymore to be a bench guy. They're still really, really good in his minutes, which I think matters. And it does speak to, we talk about him as like connective tissue. I think that's still very much the case. I wanted to look at his splits, starter versus reserve, to see, because we've agreed he's definitely overtaxed as a starter. So
correct.
Shooting 29% from deep as a starter, although 45% from the field, which is better than he is on the bench, where he shoots 42% from the field, still just 31.5% from 3. To me, that is concerning. Like, I think he's going to be useful no matter what. I would like to see the shooting come around because at a certain point, teams are just going to start ignoring him. And that will be a problem, even when he's coming off of the bench, if he's just not a threat to score from the outside. So I think that's going to be the thing with me and George Hill. it may not matter as much because he's not going to close games. He doesn't have to anymore when the team is healthy, which is obviously very good. But I would like to see the shooting pick up. I'm not worried about the raw numbers. I'm not worried about the production. You just don't need that much from him anymore. Like, he is always playing off of other guys, which is ideal now. Like, there's no lineup, I think, when the healthy Bucks are around where George Hill is the primary ball handler. He is always a secondary ball handler. He is connecting plays. It's kind of like the Lonzo Ball role, I think, for him now, which is off ball, drive or shoot or pass, not starting possessions. In transition, he can connect guys. But I do need to see that 3-point percentage pick up. That I am a little worried about that. At 35 now, is this a real regression or is it just a random sample? Hopefully it's the latter.
I mean, I'm not entirely too worried about it, given we are halfway through the season at this point. But this 30.8% mark would by far be the worst of his career. Like, he's been a good 3-point shooter for the entirety of his career, especially as of late. Like last season, 38.8%. The season before, 46%. Season before that, 31%.
Yeah, 31%.
But then it was 41, then it was 40, 40, 35, 37, 37, 37, 30. Like, he's a good 3-point shooter. I'm not too worried about that. He's due for a hot streak.
Weirdly, he shot 28% in 47 games with the 18-19 Bucks in the regular season. I did not remember that at all. He shot 46% as a starter on the Cavs to start that year, and then made what was with that team? Nobody could shoot threes back then.
It was a weird team.
It was. But I think to sum up with George, I think the role that he's playing, he's good at. That off-ball secondary creator role. I do think where you miss, what he used to be a bit, because George Hill used to be, a good starting point guard who you could run
more than good.
Yeah, you did run offense through. What you miss the most is if you want to have a bench lineup that's mostly bench guys, you just don't have enough offense anymore, which is the problem of losing Boogie. And it really, I think, kind of segues into the next guy on the list, who is Jordan Warra, unless there's more Hill thoughts. But I think you're just not looking at him to provide that primary offensive punch anymore. The guy on the bench who you would want to just like score, and that's the main thing, is Jordan Warra. Kind of saw last night why that's a little concerning, because he's just not very reliable on a night-to-night basis. And if the shot isn't falling, he struggles to provide value elsewhere, which is certainly what we saw as he shoots 1 for 11, continues to take step backs and wild push shots off the dribble, and defensively is still inconsistent. Just not ideal stuff from Jordan Warra. And as you mentioned, the one time he does make a shot, he's late to get back on defense and gives up like the same amount of points on the other end. It was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't great. To put it lightly, it wasn't great. And that's just the story of Jordan Warra's season, I guess, considering last season it was just spot minutes. He wasn't really having a consistent role for us to make any real get any real takeaways from it. But this season, it's just been the inconsistency. It's been straddling the line between bench player and role player, scorer versus plug and play guy. It's just, he struggled with that. It's a little bit understandable. It's a second year in the league. But also, this is a team that's trying to win. This is a team that's trying to win the title this season. You can't be having that sort of issues on this team. And like you mentioned, he's the guy at this point. Considering the roster turnover they've had, he's the guy off the bench who's going to be like, okay, if we need someone to create their own shot, it's going to be you, or it's going to be a guy like George Hill. And like, not to go back to George Hill, but he still has some bounce when he needs to. It's selective, but it's few and far between, but it is there. It is there at points, and we see that at points. But that's the point. It's not a consistent thing. We're not seeing that every possession. We need a guy like Jordan Warra to be an every possession type of guy. And maybe he's just not ready for it, because like a game against the Charlotte Hornets on a back-to-back, you're going to need a guy like that. Like Giannis, he didn't play a ton in Brooklyn, but still, he was playing a big role. Chris was playing a big role, and you don't have Drew Holiday. You're going to be the guy who needs to step it up a bit.
Yeah, I just really think he's going to have to find stuff to do besides shooting jumpers. You look at for a while this season.
Do something.
The story for him for a long part of the season for me was like he wasn't shooting well, and that's fixing itself a bit, or he's fixing that a bit, I should say, up to 38% from deep. And to just take a look at the overall like ask on Warra, 32 games played, which is ranking among the top of the Bucks. 21 minutes a game, which is 8th on the team if you throw out Lopez. So he's got, real responsibility now, a real role, although Wes is right on his tail at this point. And we'll talk about Wes in a second. But that 38% from three is nice, especially on, a lot of his shots are more difficult. But like less than 44% from two, which I think speaks to a lot of his twos are just really hard. Like he's not getting easy baskets. He's not getting to the rim. He's taking, fadeaways over guys. He's taking push shots. When someone does run him off the 3-point line, he doesn't get all the way to the rim. He's shooting in that mid-range area, which those are not guaranteed. And they certainly haven't been guaranteed for Warra this year. So I just think he's going to have to add more to his game. I mean, the passing is hit or miss. A lot of the times it just doesn't happen in the first place. And it's just problematic. And you can see why when the team is healthier and Bud has the option to just not use him, you can see why he does it, because the team, I think, flows better when he's not out there, because he has not yet fallen into that playing with the group like mode that we saw, like a guy like Wes Matthews, who literally his first game, he fit perfectly and the team just hummed around him. And if you look at, and it's not entirely fair because he's spent a lot of time with bench players, they're not very good when Jordan Warra plays. Like they've lost his minutes. Whereas you look at West, they destroy teams, like and Hill as well. And I think that is more fair because Hill has played with a lot of different groups this year. He's got the best net rating on the team with when they play him. He's plus 15.5 outside of Dante, who's played 50 minutes. But like West is plus 14, Hill plus 15.5. Those are guys who fit into the team construct and enable their teammates. Jordan Warra in nearly 700 minutes minus 4.1. So really, it's like the results, I think, to an extent, speak for themselves here.
You know what annoys me most about this, Ty, is that I've talked about this in the past, but he's the one guy on the team who's going to be like an emotional player. Like he's going to cross someone up and then mock them on his way back.
Yeah.
And it's just like I want him to succeed so badly because that is so fun. It's so fun when he's hot and when it's going well. He's probably the most fun player on the team in that respect, obviously. But you're absolutely right. It's a fit thing. Like the talent is there. It's a fit thing. It's an effort thing. It's a you need to know what to do thing. It's a little bit what we've been talking about with Grayson previously. I know we're not going to be talking about Grayson a lot here, but it's a similar problem in that sense. It's much more of a degree for Jordan Warra though. But he just like, if you're going to go out there, if you're Darvin Ham right now, but if you're Mike Budenholzer and that entire coaching staff, you need to have a certain cutout role for Jordan Warra. You need to be like, okay, if you don't have the ball right here, you are relocating as soon as the defense turns. You are cutting as soon as a guy turns his head. You need to be working on a dime. If you are not going to be a creator, you need to be quick. You need to utilize your quickness and make defenders think. I think he could really, really thrive in that role. If you want better shots from two, if you want to shoot a better percentage from two, take easier shots. Don't take wild push shots like you were talking about. Try to get in the dunker spot. Try to get layups. Do something else. Hit like uncontested floaters, not instead of just like two guys in your face floaters.
Yeah, he takes some difficult shots. And I don't want this to just be the rip on Jordan Warra.
Absolutely,
because we've seen some good things.
He's been productive.
Yeah, he's done that, but I just think it needs to be refined. I think that is, a young player in the second year, that these are the growing pains, and hopefully these minutes are going to be beneficial down the road. Ultimately, you never really know, but that's certainly the hope when you look at, how Warra has played this year. The next
a guy who's up for a contract, by the way.
Yeah. Good point. Or potentially to be traded and sign a contract somewhere else. I think Warra is probably the trade chip on the team right now. I guess Warra or Dante, one or the other. But both guys needing contracts.
Here's a quick aside. Would you rather? Who do you think is the most valuable trade asset out of Warra or Dante?
I think it's Dante.
Yeah.
And I think I'd rather keep Dante too at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Glad we're on the same page.
Yeah. Okay. I just here's the thing with Warra and his trade value. I know, Bucks Twitter will be like, oh, Warra for Miles Turner. Why not? He's got all this potential. Like
Harrison Barnes, welcome to the squad. Tyrese Halliburton.
Don't even get me started on
was that actually a thing? I saw a couple.
Yeah, it got picked up. Here's the thing, just 2 seconds on that. The Kings don't want to not pay Tyrese Halliburton. I've seen people they don't know. Why would they want to pay Dante more sooner? Tyrese Halliburton still has years on his rookie contract left. Yeah, but it doesn't mean they wanted him more than Tyrese Halliburton. The Bucks have wanted guys. It doesn't mean they're going to trade Giannis for them. No. It's just silly. It's silly. Dante is worse than Tyrese Halliburton. Nobody wants to pay Dante more with more injury concerns earlier than Tyrese. What, 2 years left on a rookie deal or 1?
2.
2, right?
This is the second.
Yeah. No. Silly. It's silly. I don't want to entertain it anymore.
No, I was obviously kidding.
Jordan Warra is not bringing back Cam Reddish. No.
Oh my goodness.
The Hawks are not giving you Cam Reddish for Warra and Dante. I think. Probably not. I think that seems silly to me.
They're going to give it for Ben Simmons.
Well, it's like, what? Oh, we have too many wings with the Hawks. Let's get 2 more who are worse. How does that help them? What's the point? Yeah, we actually want to consolidate the other way. We would like more bad players.
It's just a general thing with fake trades. The other team has to want to do it.
Right.
You can't just be a one-sided, like, salary fits Rodney Hood and Shemi Ojale for Robin Lopez.
Rodney and Chevy are bringing back every bench player in the league.
That's bringing back Robin Lopez? Sure it is. Why would the Orlando Magic want Rodney Hood and Shemi Ojale? They like Robin Lopez.
They do. They really do. They like the mentorship. And he likes living in Orlando.
He's good.
By Disney. Yeah. Okay, Wes Matthews, next up on the minutes per game. I think we can keep this one relatively short, too. Literally just the opposite of Jordan Warra. Every single thing. It's the opposite. He is always in the right spots, completely reliable, a plus on defense, gave great minutes on Katti. I'll take the L. He looked good defending Kevin Durant. He still shot over him sometimes. I think he bothered Katti enough, and that's what you have to do. He was
physical with him. He was very physical with him.
He bumped him off the spots. So Wes shooting tremendous numbers. I think probably not sustainable, but
God,
he has amazing shot selection.
Regresses, that's gonna be a hard regression.
I don't know how hard it's gonna be.
Like I'm saying,
he's getting great shots, and I think he looks better. Like not just the numbers, not just the production. He looks better moving around on the court than he did 2 years ago. I think the time off was probably good for him. He clearly kept in shape. He clearly stayed ready. But I think being farther from that Achilles and having some extra time when most of the league did not has been really good for Wes Matthews. And I think the Bucks have been smart to not overextend him, still averaging less than 20 minutes a game. Newsflash, he's been one of their 5 best players since they signed him. If it was purely minutes were just purely based on that, he would be 30 plus right now. I think they're being very smart to say, we will wait to ask that much from you until, May. We don't need that now.
The Bucks are very good about doing that. They're very good about limiting guys in the regular season in terms of minutes so they can save them, especially guys who are older, like Wes Matthews, like George Hill. They'll give them, if they even feel a little bit of pain, they're not playing that game. They're very smart about that. Credit where credit is due. But no, Wes Matthews is just, he's awesome. He's awesome. I know when he signed, I was making the Thanos jokes, like, you could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you back to me? But he's been awesome. There's not a better story to root for right now in the Bucks than Wes Matthews. There's
for a couple different reasons.
Exactly. It's you want to see this guy succeed, and seeing him put in the work and having that pay off is just incredible, first and foremost. But the production is insane, like you mentioned. He's shooting the ball well. He's the sidestep 3. I know we've mentioned this in the past, but that is completely new, and it's working. Like, it's actually sustainable.
Yeah. And I think like he's getting to the rim more. Like he just looks better.
The post-ups. The post-ups. The
post-ups are there.
The first play in the Nets game was a Wes Matthews post-up for an
and he missed actually. Oh no! Yeah, that's right. Never mind. I don't know what I'm thinking of. Yeah, he did make it. I think he missed it. I think he might have posted up again in the Charlotte game. I think the dunker spot has been good for him too, because he's that smart kind of off-ball player who's good at utilizing that spot on the floor too. It's been perfect. Like it's really. I thought it was a bad signing when they picked him up. Like I was like, I don't know about this. Like I don't know what he has left in the tank. Apparently, the answer is a lot. And
he's got a lot left in the tank.
Like you mentioned, is it a little dangerous to rely on him this much? Maybe, but like, why not? Why not lean in right now? I mean, it's not like they need 30 minutes from him. When they're healthy, they have enough guys. But God, is it encouraging to see? And again, it's not just the numbers. The way he looks out there on both ends, it's just perfect. Like he is like up there with Pat in terms of just like ideal role players for this Bucks team.
It's just versatile is the word, like similar to Pat. You can slot him in at the 2. You can slot him in at the 4. He's been the starting 2 guard for the Milwaukee Bucks, like literally like a year and a half ago. And now he's playing minutes at the 4 for them, like a year and a half later. It's versatility. He's been starting at point guard, like maybe not starting at point guard, but he's been playing point a few times. Especially because it helps that they have 0 guards on the roster right now.
Yeah,
but
I think that will not continue.
No.
But
It probably shouldn't continue.
No, it should. It absolutely should not.
The production, the versatility, the physicality. I know that's just a buzzword, but
that's real.
Fits.
That's real with Wes. Yeah, that is not a joke. Wes is pretty clearly the best defensive player they bring off the bench.
Yeah.
And as I pointed out in a previous pod, I don't remember which one, the lineups when they have Drew and Wes just strangle teams. Like teams are hopeless to score against those two. I remember the Detroit game. Drew was like knocking. I think it was. I was gonna say Neil Aquino. What the other French point guard?
Oh wait, no, Killian.
The French. Yeah, Killian Hayes. And Drew was like knocking the ball out of his hands, and then he passes it out to the other side of the perimeter, and that guy is defended by Wes. I think they either got a terrible shot off or it was a 24-second violation. Like trying to score on those two as the perimeter defenders with Giannis in the back.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, let's say you beat that boss, then you run into Giannis.
Yeah, it's insane. Like and clearly, I mean, we know Bud. We just said that. Go listen if you haven't to the pod with Coach Brad Fisher. Deep dive into Bud coaching, really fascinating.
Just coaching in general.
We know
it was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. But we know Bud loves defense. We know the Bucks' backbone is defense. If you watch the title run, that's how they did it. They are now able to lean into that again, even without Brook Lopez, because of the personnel and the buy-in, which is super impressive given how important Brook has been to their defense.
Yeah, and I think I know we're not going to talk about him a lot, but that's credit to guys like Bobby Portis who have stepped things up on the defensive end. Like he's stepped up well in Brook's absence. Credit to the coaching staff for using different schemes. They don't drop anymore.
No, almost never.
Their base defense isn't dropping; it's high hedges, but like it's very good to see. But yeah, Wes Matthews, rock solid. Just he's that dude.
Let's get to not that dude. We're gonna burn through some of these. I think this one especially. Next up in minutes per game is actually Langston Galloway,
oh my goodness,
who has played 2 games on a 10-day contract.
About Langston Galloway. Yeah, he's a buck.
Let's sum it up. He is shooting 9% from the field.
You could have summed it up with
0%.
Shooting. You could have just stopped at shooting. He is shooting.
Yeah, he is shooting. Although, in fairness, 4.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, no turnovers yet. But I think all of the non-scoring stuff, I actually have been pretty impressed with Langston. Like I think defensively, he holds up. He moves well. He's passed well. He hasn't turned the ball over. You just can't shoot 9% from the field. Like he cannot make any sort of shots. He has been useless scoring the ball. Not to be rude, but it's just like the fact. Like he's not scored at all. He scored 2 points in 2 games, made a shot. That's a problem. And I mean, we don't have to go deep. It's a 10-day hardship deal. I don't think they're going to go out of their way to retain him. Maybe if they need him for one more 10-day.
Can you imagine?
Oh, can I call a shot here?
Yeah.
I think behind the curtain, this would go up Monday morning. I might literally post it today just so I don't get beat by this. Kyle Guy. I think they're going to look at Kyle Guy somehow.
Okay.
I think he's looked really good in Miami. The contract just expired. They're cheap. They're not going to sign him because it would push them into the tax. Bucks fans can relate. But either when Langston's 10-day expires,
it's also
or
tough for them roster-wise.
Because they're cheap.
Yeah.
They could literally sign Caleb Martin to a deal today and have the two-way open, but they won't because it would push them
Is
into
Kyle
the tax.
Guy two-way eligible, though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, they're cheap.
He hasn't played.
Well,
he
I know
was
they're cheap.
drafted in like 2019, I think. So.
Oh, I thought it was... Maybe I'm mixing them up.
Maybe.
No, but Miami is cheap. Miami is very cheap. That goes.
They're being super cheap. It's under the radar because they're instead of yelling about their cheapness, their people are too busy just having impure thoughts about culture or whatever. Yeah, that too. Kyle Guy, this is only his third year of and he's only played like 39 games. So he is two-way eligible. But like nearly 10 points a game, 2.6 assists, 1 turnover. 51% from the field, 45% from 3, 60% from 2, 80% from free throw for Kyle Guy. And this is NBA. And I saw him torch the herd. I made a Jack Harlow joke. But like this is basically Javonte Smart G League production at the NBA level, which is a lot more interesting for obvious reasons. So whether it's a two-way swap or a 10-day contract, and they could sign him to a straight-up 10-day as well, which would be cheaper than a rest-of-season deal or a 10-day hardship, whatever. That I'm calling my shot, Kyle Guy. But we can Langston Galloway, don't think they're gonna look to retain him.
No. Sorry, Langston. I feel bad, but
yeah, I mean it's a hard spot for these guys, but this has not been good.
They'll probably get another 10-day somewhere.
Yeah, I mean how many teams let's look. How many teams has Langston Galloway played on this year?
2 or 3?
Yeah, only 2. I thought it was more.
It was Nets Bucks, right?
Yep.
Look at me.
Yeah, he played 4 games for Brooklyn.
Yeah, but no, Langston, I don't think we need to dive deep because he's not going to be around for a while.
That brings us to number 37, Semi Ojeleye. Nearly 18 minutes per game. Shooting not that much better, 21% from the field, 21% from 3, 21% from 2. 81% from free throw on nearly 1 attempt per game.
Almost there, 0.7.
Bro, it's kind of the same deal. It's kind of the same deal where it's like everything except offense has been okay. The defense has been okay. Rebounding, I think he's done fine, but it's not nearly enough to justify the not even lack of like the anti-offense. He's anti-offense. He's so bad offensively. Yeah, it hurts. I during the Brooklyn game, I literally the tweet was just go to hell, Shemi, because he shook a guy and did a spin, and I knew he was going to shoot it, and I knew he shouldn't have. He was wide open. It was literally, honestly, a beautiful post move. Like he got so much separation, and I was like, there's no way this goes in. Hard front iron. No one around him. Hard front iron. And I literally had no other take. Just go to hell. Go to hell. I got motion sickness. I was sitting still. I just can't.
I mean, like immediately on checking into that Nets game, he just barely hit rim on a beautiful assist by Giannis. Then goes down the other end, gives up an and one. I think it was an and one, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Just within 15 seconds, he just like that was a weird brick. It barely hit front. It hit more backboard than rim on a corner 3 attempt. That was low. I don't understand how that works. And then just gave up points on defense. Like I feel bad. I don't know how we've come to this point where I'm the one feeling bad for Semi Ojeleye's hate, considering I'm the one that was warning everyone on the onset. Like, yeah,
you were right. You get the dub there. You get the huge dub there.
It is sad. I don't want to win. I don't want to win.
Of course. And at this point, you have to. I mean, he's got to be. I think it's like it's what's the word?
Point.
Like it keeps getting. It's a. No, yes. It's like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point though. Like I'm sure, even pro athletes, like there's no way you can totally tune out the noise. I mean, just seeing what you're doing is enough noise to be like in a bad confidence state. And then hopefully Shemi is not tuning into the pod. It's not going to help,
or come on the pod, Shemi. That works.
I don't even know if that'd just be awkward, man.
Are you saying
Have you considered never shooting? Have you considered never shooting?
I think we'd be nicer than that.
I think I would get there. I think I'd find a way to ask that question.
Well,
Have
he's
you
not
considered it would
going
be
to
more
come on now,
beneficial?
Ty.
If you, well, okay, well that's fair. If you don't want to face that question, don't come on the pod. But it would be much more beneficial to the team if he just didn't shoot based on the way he's shooting, and that is evidenced by the Bucks losing the Semi Ojeleye minutes by 17 points per 100 possessions. That's about a point worse than the Mamu minutes, which kind of sucks for Mamu. He's had to play, like there's games when he plays like 40 minutes. Clearly those are going to be disastrous games. Mamu, I think there's been some bright spots. Semi, there is not. It's just all bad. And it's just not doable. When he has to play, they suck. And I don't know. Maybe he figures it out. I think it's much more likely that a pick is attached to him and he's swapped for someone who maybe can play real basketball. It's just not happening. It's over.
OKC, we're calling you.
Please. My God.
I don't even know if they'd cut him at this point. I mean, it's the same thing.
Well, it's double if you cut him and then pay someone else.
Well,
so
yeah.
I think they won't.
I know. I'm saying
I think
just straight cutting him is the same impact.
Oh, I thought for OKC, I want Kenny Hustle.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you're getting
Warra,
maybe.
Shemi, and 2 second-round picks.
Maybe
call it in.
Maybe, but
maybe is right. Do you have anything else here?
It's just not fun, you know.
No,
it's just
and you know too. Me. That's the thing.
It's aging me.
You every time he checks into the game or is about to take a shot, you can literally go, "Oh, this is going to go bad," and you're never wrong. And I always wish I was, because like the satisfaction of being right is not worth it's not eye strain. No, it's not. It's not there because it's not fun because it's just bad.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to be. We don't want to be right here. We're not rooting for the failure of Bucks players or anything just to prove a point. We're not.
But it is happening.
We're just telling you what's happening.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah, that works.
Boogie would be next. Remembrance. Dante De Vincenzo. Dante De Vincenzo was played 3 games. Do you know how many 2s he's made?
Ooh, is it 2?
It's 0.
Oh, wow.
Dante De Vincenzo across 3 games, shooting 40% from 3, 0% from 2.
He's back.
7.3 points. He's totally back. 5.7 rebounds. A 0.5 assist to turnover ratio. We've seen the good and the bad of Dante. Defensively, he's super fun. They've been really good in his minutes. Again, it's 3 games. It's like 60 total minutes. Cannot finish at the rim to save his life, which is not new. Is still not a point guard capable guy or even like a George Hill level creator at this point. Like that, we have not seen that either. He's not diming. He's turning the ball over a lot. There's a lot of mistakes. I think it's very good that they have when everyone's healthy and hopefully he's back soon from this ankle. It sounds like shouldn't be that much longer, but who knows?
They said a few weeks, right? Is that what Bud said? Like last week?
I think they did, but he's already been working out, and it seems like he looks pretty good. So hopefully, it's only like another week or 2.
It's just precautionary because it was the surgically repaired ankle that he did roll.
Are they both by now?
I don't think so. At least it was the most recent one.
It was the most recent for sure. Yeah, he only injured the one, but he's had a lot of lower leg injuries since Nova, which is certainly concerning and factors into the trade value and contract, conversations.
Yeah. But to be fair, like we've highlighted some of the bad things, right? Like he's not finishing. Like that's nothing new. I mean, it's maybe a little more apparent in the small sample.
Yeah, it's not been 0% in past years. It's been better than that. But
he's not like a point guard. They've been putting the ball in his hands less to run the offense, which is good considering I think they know now that that's not his strongest trait per se. But I will say, there is a clear role for him in this offense, and he is very, very good at that. And that is just a fast guy. That is what I was talking about with Jordan Warra. If you can take advantage of defenses, leverage your quickness against defenses, Dante does that so well. He's so bouncy. He's springy. He is immediately, as soon as he recognizes defensive coverages and immediately goes to spots where there are weaknesses and gets in position to receive passes, which is why he's shooting well from 3, because he's taking a lot of open shots, because he's making himself open. He's not relying on passers to get him there. He's getting to open spots. He's communicating well on defense. He's a good defender in terms of just isolation, but he's great when it comes to off-ball defense. that sort of intelligence is apparent, and it's really, really good to see, because if, like we talked about, so many guys who could play these positions, whether it's Grayson, whether it's Wes, whether it's George, whether it's Pat in some instances, Dante has the chance to be the best of them.
This year?
Yes.
Oh, I don't think so.
I think he does.
He's literally the Tasmanian devil. I think the variance is a little too dangerous for me to put him there.
Yes, but the ceiling is the highest. Would you agree with that?
I suppose.
And he has the chance to get there.
I mean, okay. I suppose. I don't know. I guess you could say Warra does too, because his ceiling is like
no, he doesn't have
28 points a game.
He doesn't have the defensive knowledge to really compete.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
No, I'd say. I
don't know. I think it's disingenuous though to look at ceiling only for a player like Dante, who has never
maybe not, but he's
near his ceiling for more than a couple games in a row.
That's true. That's fair. Like, I'm not saying he's going to reach that, right? I'm saying he has a chance to. Is it a decent chance? It might be, honestly. Like, from what we've seen, if he can just, I say if he can finish well, like, that's something easy for him. But like, if he can get some of that going and the coaching staff takes the ball out of his hands a little on offense, I think he's really well set in this role.
I don't know. I think he's useful. I'm glad to have him when he's able to play. I don't know how this is going to shake up with all the guys at this point. Like, I think it's really hard to determine right now, like, what the minute allocation should be between Grayson, Pat, Dante, Wes. I think all four probably play in pretty much any game, but I mean, Wes has been the best so far.
Agreed.
On the season as a whole. And then I think it's Pat and then Grayson. And that Pat and Grayson pretty close, just such different players.
I'd say
and then
Pat's
Dante
just better than Grayson.
Yeah, after this slide, I think so. And then Dante, just because again, like at some point you will need him to be able to make a shot that's within the arc, but it's such a small sample. I don't know. I just need to see more. But although part of me also thinks like it really, like you said, he's back. Like I think we know what Dante is. It's just hard to pin down because he has so much floor to ceiling variance on a nightly basis.
Yeah, it's just the full Dante De Vincenzo experience.
It's a lot.
It's availability and it's variance when he is available.
I really hope we're never at a point when we have a ton of Dante and Warra, because if they both have floor games at once, the team will just explode.
Oh,
that's
God.
A lot of variance.
Just imagine.
Although I'd rather have Dante than not over
just
these
a
last
car
couple.
crash in my head, right? Like just a full on T-bone that just like somehow explodes. That's the floor.
Yes. Speaking of floor, Rodney Hood next up has played 31 games, which is more than anyone that we've talked about since Warra, because he's been around all year. 34% from the field, 30% from three, 43% from two. Again, credit to him, 93% from free throw, 2 rebounds, 3.5 points a game. Doesn't seem like he has it. And I was starting to come around the last couple games, and I think he thought he was too. Some of the shot selection against Brooklyn and Charlotte was pretty bold, and then Charlotte 0 for 5. Just, I don't know. He's just kind of there. I haven't loved it.
He's one of those guys that sort of floats in and out. Like when he's on the court, you're like, oh, Rodney's here. You know? When he's not like shooting pull-up threes from like half court.
Some of his shots, I'm just like, why?
Is that you?
Rod?
That's true. Like we're big fans of Big Rod here, but like it's
love Big Rod, but
again, we can't necessarily just bury him after like one bad game after he's put together like a couple good performances in a row, right? Like we're not here to just be completely reactionary, but
the season numbers are quite bad.
The season numbers are very bad.
Yeah, it's not just the one game. I mean, that one game didn't help the shooting splits, but he's not been consistently productive. Let's look. How many games has Big Rod scored more than like 5 points?
If I were to take a guess right now,
I would guess 3.
I would probably guess. I don't know. You said more than 5?
More than 5.
4, 5, 6, 6.
You're pretty close. It's 7. 7
Well, I mean,
games.
I'm counting right now.
Oh! I thought you were gonna guess 7 games. He's double figures twice, including some really good. I think I missed that Knicks game. That was good minutes for him in that game. But
I didn't scroll down all the way. I was like, I swear 6, I can count.
Or 7 games. Yeah, I just sorted by points to do it that way. But I don't know, man.
It's
just largely has not been able to do anything.
It's like
so
when he was signed, it was like taking a chance. Like it's a flyer. If he hits, it works out really well. If it doesn't hit, it's not a high risk, right?
Yes.
It's sort of being the latter right now. It's not hitting. Again, there's still time. There's still like half the season left. But at a certain point, the coaching staff is going to start narrowing down their rotations soon.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not, considering everyone's out and it's a weird season. But.
Well, he was the guy. Yeah, when everyone's back, he was the guy who wasn't playing. But that was when they had Boogie. So that was like they had 10 guys who could play without Brook, and then Rod doesn't have to play. He might have to play some more now because he's still, I think, been better than Chevy, which is, it's depressing to think about. But yeah, it's just not been good. It's concerning to me that his offensive numbers look very similar to last year when he was also very bad. And the hope was, okay, got through some of the rough stuff. Now, hopefully he can get back to form after another, was it another, just an Achilles?
Just an Achilles.
Or was it an ACL? An Achilles?
I think it was just Achilles.
But I don't know if his athleticism looks that much different. It just feels like he's not converting any of his shots, and it's a problem.
Yeah. We'll see if he picks it up because, like, he does look like he gets to the right spots at points. Like he's playing within the system really well. It's just a point of he's not hitting his shot.
Yeah. So hopefully that changes. Next up, I think we're down to the guys who really should never play when the team is healthy, but they're not. Javonte Smart, 12 minutes per game. I think the luster wore off really quick here. He seemed really fun in his first game or two, and basically has the same shooting splits as these other guys. Actually, Big Rod, I shouldn't say it. I mean, we got Dante 3 games, but Shemi and Javonte are in the 20s. At least Big Rod, 35% from the field, 30% from 3. But Javonte, 25% from the field, 22% from 3, 28% from 2. 2.5 points. Was he out? He did not play these last couple of games, did he? Do we know? He's not. Is he hurt? Is he just didn't play? That's pretty tough considering they had Rodney Hood logging point guard minutes, and I think that really speaks to where they're at with Javonte. He played garbage time against Brooklyn.
I think they're excited for guards to get healthy so he can go save the herd.
Yeah. God save the herd. I don't know why that reminded me of that. Have you heard that? Have you heard that expression?
God save the herd?
Well, not with the herd, but
I'm kidding. Yes, of course I have.
Okay.
Are you calling Javonte Smart God in this situation?
No, not based on what we've seen so far.
No, but he should be able to get some good run with the herd.
Yeah, I think that's
their regular season.
I think that's started their regular season. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I think that sums it up.
He's at his core. He's a two-way guy, and that's what he was signed to be.
Yeah. Although, well, I mean, theoretically, the second way is NBA, and we're not really seeing that.
Yeah, we saw it for those. Games.
Are we too easy? Are we too easy on two-way players? Maybe,
but also like. There's only a couple teams that really leverage two ways really well, like Miami does.
Miami, the Clippers.
Yeah. Like most teams, their two ways aren't great.
Yeah. The Bucks Frank Mason would be really useful right about now.
Oh my goodness. Can we sign? I'm surprised he hasn't gotten attended.
Yeah, I am too. He's with the Lakers G League team, but I think he's had some leg injuries. I think he might still be struggling with one.
Oh yeah, because he was with the Magic last season, and when all of the Magic point guards
he ended up missing a lot of the time. Yeah.
That was a weird season from Orlando. They were just cursed at point guard.
Yeah, they had a million guys get hurt that year. Next up, this is actually, well, I think there's only 2 guys left. We'll probably talk about them both a good deal. I think we're not going to, with J-Rob, Yorgos, and Javin DeLaurier now off the team, we're not going to break down Luke Cornett or Jeff Doughton, who both missed 1 shot in 3 minutes against Brooklyn.
I don't know, man. Luke Cornett's he can put up the same numbers as Boogie.
He looks like he's cosplaying as Spencer Hawes. I remembered him as being like slim.
I was going to say Tyler Zeller.
I remember him as looking like a home crafted version of Porzingis, like super long and like spindly and could shoot. But like, it's like, oh, you don't need Gucci, daughter. I'll sew it for you. That's what I remember Luke Cornett looking at. And now he looks like a bootleg version of Spencer Hawes, which is really sad. Like that, the idea of a lesser late stage Spencer Hawes, and I'm talking about Bucks Spencer Hawes, to be clear. Really sad.
Spencer Hawes
really sad.
Like that good at any point.
I think he was a real rotation guy at one point, but by the time he was with the Bucks, he literally couldn't move. And that's, I think, what we're getting from Luke Cornett. So, yeah, let's not talk about those guys.
So,
I know nothing about Jeff Doughton. Yeah.
No, I didn't know Jeff Doughton
actually,
existed.
It's not Mamu. I knew he was on the Warriors. It's not Mamu. TA has played more minutes.
Oh, let's go.
TA is who we talk about.
See, this is
here's what.
Go ahead.
Let me start this off. I'll tee you up. We're at the point where he should be playing over Chevy and Rodney Hood because he's better.
He's been better.
Yeah. But I think that's been proven now. Like, I think you want to give those guys shots to show that they have something. They don't have anything. Rod has more. Neither have anything. TA, and I think you probably need to play both because TA is going to foul out. But I think the highs have been higher for him than either. Rod has like a couple of good games, but generally, like, I think he's been more useful than those 2 guys. And certainly, I mean, we've been talking about shooting splits. TA 45% from the field and 51% from 2. The problem is 9% from 3. He doesn't take very many. He's not a shooter, but he knows that. He just dunks. At least he can dunk successfully,
unless it's garbage
which is
time.
More than Shemi can say. Yeah, I mean, he gets a little
garbage time. TA is the most fun in the league. Like against Brooklyn, that was
not
absolutely
to play against.
Incredible. Absolutely,
yes,
incredible.
It was.
Like, Darvin Ham must have just been like dying on the inside at what TA was doing, but it was hilarious. I was literally just sitting and watching this game and just laughing. I was by myself. I was just laughing. Like, it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. Man was just like the guys on the team knew it was the TA show as well. They were passing him the ball. They were just like, "Oh yeah, just go for it. Just isolate, take it, step back threes, 2 possessions in a row. Like, hell yeah."
His hook shot, he's got a hook shot that doesn't usually go very well.
If it hits rim, it's a win.
Yep. And because then he has a chance to get the board.
Yes, but here's the thing about TA. He is very, very, very self-aware. So when it's not garbage time, he does not play like that at all. At all. He is very like in tune with what he needs to do in certain situations, which, Jordan Warra could learn a lot from TA in these situations. But like when he was put in against the Nets, he was just immediately a defensive irritant. He was picking up KD full court and just flopping and getting fouled.
Did you get 1 or 2? 2?
One in the backcourt. One in the backcourt.
I remember that one. Yeah, that was good.
I don't know if he got a second one on KD. But that's the type of impact you need. Like, you're a long, athletic guy who has good defensive instincts. Use that. Leverage that.
Yeah.
Like, and he's also like he's a good screener in terms of like he will pull guys when he immediately recognizes defensive mismatches and bring the ball to set a screen for a guy into a DHO so they can get an open shot. And if he catches the ball on the roll, he is passing out. Like he recognizes that he's not going to necessarily finish through traffic. He's going to try to set guys up. And if he's open, cutting to the basket, then he'll dunk it. Otherwise, he's not going to try to do anything that he knows he can't do well.
And I think he's good at finding space to get to the rim. Like, I think he's legitimate. That's his thing offensively. But yeah, he gets an offensive rebound during like a real game where he's playing. if Chris is out there, he's going to DHO Chris every single, like literally he will make a beeline over to him, get him the ball, set a screen. Like, here you go, Chris, do something with this. It is perfect.
I'm gonna make some space for you, Chris.
Ideally, you would have a player who is self-aware and can do more than TA. They don't really have players like that outside of the guys we mentioned. So you kind of have to take what you can get. And I think at this point, like, just give TA the Chevy minutes, because TA has been way more helpful to the team. Let me pull up. I've been skipping the off on. Let's see. Oh, okay, yeah. We're to the point where they now.
Ty.
Did we really? What is it?
Bol is going to the Nets.
What?
No, wait. Bol's going to the Pistons.
Oh. A trade?
Yeah.
Oh, no, they cut him. Oh, no, it was a trade.
Yeah.
Oh, because they're signing Devon Reed, who they very much need.
Yeah. That's not breaking news. Continue. I was just kidding.
Wow, they got a second-round pick for Bol. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I can't wait until they try to stick Bol on Giannis in a playoff game at some point. Probably not. He's a two-way. I thought you said.
No. They're acquiring Brooklyn's pick. Detroit is acquiring.
Oh.
Bol. I messed up.
Oh, I see. Oh, so it's a awful pick. Okay. So basically nothing. Oh, and they got Rodney Magruder as well.
Cool.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, we're to the point now where the Bucks lose all of these guys' minutes. So they're minus.
Well, a lot of that is garbage
with TA.
time.
Yeah.
That influences that net rating a lot.
Well, and also, let's just be honest. I mean, these are the players you would expect to lose their minutes. These are end-of-bench guys being forced to play bigger roles in some of these games. Like, just, I mean, what game was that where it was like Mamu and Javante played 40 minutes?
Cavs.
I think TA played a lot in that game. Yeah, I mean, like, just having to play a lot of minutes in those games. That's why we did the impromptu
playback for the second half.
Yeah, I don't know why we did that. But yeah, I mean, I just think these guys are being put in some tough spots. But yeah, I think TA could give you more. It's certainly than Chevy. I think Hood, maybe you just want to keep trying and see what you can get. But I'm out on Chevy now. I don't see it. I don't see how mid-season he flips from being maybe the worst offensive player I've seen play for the Bucks to useful. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, he is big.
Sure. Let's move on. I don't do this. Mamu's the last guy playing 11.9 minutes per game. Listen, they lose a lot when he plays. I do think he's been largely impressive on the year, averaging 4 points and 2.4 rebounds and 0.6 assists. He has a positive assist to turnover ratio, 43.7% from the field, but that's a little misleading because he takes almost as many threes as he does twos. 38% from three, 48% from two. Really showing some things. I mean, the per game stuff is tiny because he's played garbage time a lot just to end games. But honestly, do think that some of the Boogie decision may be influenced by good signs from Mamu lately. I don't think Mamu's as good right now, but I do think I'm intrigued to see him play more, even if he's not going to help as much as Boogie. And I don't know. It's been good. It's been large. I don't think he's ready this year to contribute in the playoffs or anything like that. But I think overall for a 54th pick, I'm pretty damn impressed.
Yeah, I think the biggest impact has been on the boards, realistically, especially the offensive glass. He's created so many extra possessions for this team. And I think he talked about it post-game, where guys like Giannis, guys like Bobby are telling him the way he can impact the game is through offensive rebounds. He gets a lot of good putbacks. He gets extra possessions, like I just mentioned. That's big. That's how the Bucks won the title last year, is just by absolutely dominating the glass. That's how they can get extra shots, because their offense was stuck in the mud for the majority of the playoffs. So eventually, even though they were shooting terribly, they couldn't score at times, they were just getting more chances. And that's what a guy like Mamu can do. He can give you those extra chances. Now, is this sustainable? Maybe. Maybe not. Defensively, he leaves a lot to be desired defensively. Teams are going to start realizing that they can just pick him apart. But right now, it's intriguing. It's very intriguing.
I think it's sustainable because I don't think you're getting anything crazy. I mean, they're bad when he plays, right? I don't think they're getting anything, wild from him. I think it's interesting to look over the last 3 games. He's had a real role in all of them, although a diminishing one. 6.3 points and 4 rebounds in just under 17 minutes per game for these last 3. The shooting has been bad. He's gotten cold from deep, so it's actually bringing his numbers down. But 4 rebounds in that minutes is solid. 2.3 of the 4 have been offensive. So as you mentioned, really crashing the glass. He's gotten multiple offensive rebounds in all 3 of those games, and that's the kind of thing that, you know, you're not great offensively, generate some extra possessions, or defensively, generate some extra possessions and make up for it. And I think TA can do similar stuff too. Although he has to overcome more on offense than defense. Yeah, I don't know. I think, you know, he's not ready to play the role Boogie played well. That's for sure. I mean, just look at the numbers. It's pretty obvious. But I do think they're seeing some interesting things from Mamu. And I don't hate wanting to explore that more, although it's not going to help win games. I mean, they've also lost 2 of those the last 3 games as well that Mamu's seen more run in. So I don't know. We'll see. But interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Like he's a 54th overall pick, like you mentioned. Let's see what you got.
I will say, defensively,
he can get some run on the herd too.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun. It has been fun. He's more spry than I expected defensively. I think the issue is, I think he needs to actually get stronger because I think guys finish over him super easily right now. Like
I think he has a weaker base. Like he gets
he doesn't get vertical. He doesn't get vertical very well. He does some blocks, but he's just like he's not a very effective rim deterrent right now. It feels like opposing players are pretty comfortable just going right through him or right over him. So I think he'll need to either get stronger or a little bit springier still, which I think stronger is more doable for his frame than the other one. But it's overall not too bad. Although again, it's, you know, he's not a real rotation guy right now.
Mamu's going to come next season looking like Orlando Dwight Howard.
That would be a lot of fun. Not the healthiest long-term approach for literally his health. But okay, overall bench takeaways. Now that we've gone through every bench player on the Bucks, I think my number 1 is they could probably use more scoring.
Yep. Like
staggering. Like we've seen Bud when they actually have guys, has really leaned into Drew and bench as one lineup, and then Chris and Giannis play. So that obviously helps.
End of first quarter, early second quarter is when that really shines.
But here's the issue. That kind of worked because Drew got a lot of assists offensively from Boogie. Like Drew and Boogie had good chemistry. They provided the scoring together. I'm a little worried that there's still not going to be enough offense, even with Drew out there. So I think that's going to be the biggest hurdle is, you know, can Warra be a consistent game-to-game player? He's probably going to have to. Can Mamu step up and do so? Or can they, you know, find someone else, which certainly is possible. But I think that's the biggest worry. I think versatility, two-way play between Pat, Hill, Wes, you feel pretty good about that. I do think just raw scoring output is where, outside of Warra, there's really not many guys you can look at who are going to be able to consistently generate their own offense, and that is an issue for the Bucks.
And even last season, when the Drew bench lineups were thriving as well, because those have thrived ever since Drew came to Milwaukee, you had a guy like Bobby Portis coming off the bench as well.
Yeah. Bobby being a starter now takes a ton away from your bench offensively.
Yeah. So, this mitigates itself if Brook Lopez is healthy, because then Bobby's back to that bench role. Brook Lopez isn't healthy. Get well soon, big fella.
Yeah.
But scoring is definitely where this team could improve on the bench. They have pieces that are capable. They're just not ready.
Yeah, I think really it's in two different ways, right? Because the other guy who could provide that and has been trying is Rodney Hood. Like when Rodney Hood was healthy, he was a guy who could generate his own offense. You know, he's not a primary option on a good team or anything, but in a couple minutes,
good scorer.
Yeah, he could create offense. He has not been able to do that. And then Warra has been better at that, but just not as good at everything else. So that's why I think those two guys are going to continue getting chances until some sort of a move is made, because they need to keep trying. They need to get through these games. But that's why, like, adding a Kyle Guy I think would be interesting, because he has been able to do that to an extent so far. Obviously super unproven, super small sample size, but I think they're learning that they need more points. Langston Galloway has not been able to do it. They're not going to play the other hardship guys. I just think it's going to be tough unless Warra can really step up. It's going to be big moments for Warra and Hood. If one of them could step up and be more consistent, then that solves a lot of that issue, I think.
Yeah, agreed. It's just like You need these guys to be fully realized. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we're getting close to trade season, or the trade deadline,
Yeah,
I should say. We are in trade season, evidently.
And,
but
and I think I will say it's probably nice that that's the need, because that feels like one of the easiest skills to find is just offense. I think it's easier to find offense than a two-way player, like a true, like good on both sides, at least a little bit.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm talking about like
a two-way contract. I was like,
no. I'm talking about like it's funny because they did find him for basically free, but look around right now and how many guys do you feel like could give you Wes Matthews output versus Boogie output? And I think there's more Boogie guys.
Like who?
Including Boogie, who will probably be available in 10 days again, but we'll see if that actually happens.
I don't know. The John Horst was saying there's nothing hindering a partnership down the road. Well, that would be hilarious.
Can we? Is 2 weeks of savings enough to bring him back? How long do we have to wait?
I don't know.
When is the number palpable? That's what I want to know.
It depends what's in the budget, you know? Maybe they'll have to. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. I don't want to get myself in trouble. I am just going to materialize, or what's the manifest? I'm going to manifest every day. Speak it into existence.
Chevy and a second round pick to OKC for nothing or more than that for Kenny Hustle. Every single day, I'm just going to manifest that.
That'd be fun. Can you imagine if they open up a roster, like they trade a guy and then bring back Boogie immediately and sign him to a deal? That would be hilarious. That's the dream. That's the dream, and that's how you. It would be hilarious, though.
Yeah, like why not just do it earlier? But
I mean, it's clear why if they do that.
Well, you don't even save that much because you're just flipping the roster spot. They could have just done that right away, and it would have been the same amount.
No, I mean like. You'd be paying double if you cut Chevy, and then
but I'm saying if they traded someone to do it, you could have just traded someone earlier and kept Boogie around.
Yeah, I know that.
That's what I'm saying. There's no real material difference in cost. What it might be, though, you know how that might happen is during these 10 days he's in Denver. If they continue to have 5-point bench scoring games, that's when you might say, okay, you know what, we can't do this anymore. Goodbye, Shemi Ojale.
Yeah, it'll be. We'll see if that happens or not. But yeah,
I think at some point you probably do. I think that's now, in my opinion, maybe the most glaring need. I don't know. I guess it all depends. Everything with the Bucks, it all depends on Brook Lopez. Another wing defender would be nice too. Like upgrading Shemi into someone who can do anything on the other end, basically. But they're just going to need points. Yeah. But even when healthy, I think they're just going to need points. Like healthy, meaning
he's making quotes for people listening.
Air quotes, yeah. Healthy in this case, meaning Bobby's still starting, Brooks still out. Like short-term healthy. That's still not enough bench points. Although you could probably get there by staggering.
Yeah, and that's what they'll do in the postseason anyway. But you just got it. Like, you have to remember, you have to get through a regular season. You have to have a good seed.
Got to get there.
You want home court advantage for as long as possible because you know you perform super well there when Windisch is not in attendance. So
yeah,
it's. I'll bring that up as long as I can.
Yeah, you will. Okay.
I think that's a good place to wrap it up, though. Unless you have any more last minute bench thoughts.
I do not.
Okay. Well, if you want to see Ty's air quotes, you can watch this on our YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube, Gyro Step Podcast Network on YouTube. You know what else you guys should do? Should leave a 5-star rating on Spotify, on Apple. Leave a review on Apple, or if you're on Spotify, we made our own review system. You can screenshot your rating, send an email to eurosteppod@gmail.com, and we'll treat it like a normal review since Spotify's lacking. Ty, do we have a review to read?
We do. We do indeed. And it's a good one. From Scott from Wisconsin. It's just like Scott. An ideal. That's a good display name. The headline is 6? It's a 5-star review. Although Scott is asking the big questions here. Some sort of conspiracy afoot? Why am I banned from being able to give 6 stars? 6. Yes. As in Bucks in 6. I would give 6 if I could. The best Bucks pod in the world. Shout out Scott from Wisconsin. That is pure heat. That is a fire review. Thank you, Scott.
Oh, thank you, Scott. We appreciate the sentiment. Oh, I love this. It makes me so happy.
The reviews is nice. Although, hey, we're running dry. People, send the reviews in. Yeah. I know we only have, I think we're going to get through all of our listeners. Although, if you're listening for the first time, hello, welcome. Congratulations on getting through an hour plus talk on the Bucks bench. Clearly, you're a fan. Please leave a rating and review. Yeah.
We know how many of you listen on Apple, okay?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's plenty. Although, like we said, Spotify, and honestly, also, if you listen on besides Apple or Spotify, if your pod platform doesn't even have a stars, which send them an email first and say, hey, add some stars so I can give Gyro Step Podcast Network 5 stars. Second, just send us where you listen and just say 5 stars and a review. We'll read that too.
GyroStepPod
at Gmail. We'll read it all because we love hearing from the listeners. I mean, honestly, as though it might seem that Rohan and I would talk into the void because we love hearing ourselves and maybe each other talk Bucks that much. And the reason we do this is we would, yeah. But the reason we really enjoy doing this is the listeners.
Of course.
That's what makes podcasting special. And hearing from you folks has been just tremendous. So please continue reaching out. It makes my day. Yeah, tweets, emails, all of it. It's just great. So thanks so much. Continue to do that, please. And manifest the Chevy Ojale trade.
Yeah, manifest the Chevy Ojale trade.
That's the other thing.
Make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening, by the way. Gyro Step Podcast Network. Make sure you subscribe to the Substack, gspn.substack.com. You can see Bucks stock market, other articles there. Bucks stock market after every game, written write-ups. It's a good time. It's a good time. And if Ti's pre-assigned, it's going to be a Bucks terrible loss to that game. That's usually how it works. Pulling back the curtain a little bit. It's been a rough streak for you, Ti.
I've been giving out the down stocks. I've been the disciplinarian for a while.
But yeah, make sure you subscribe to that. And thank you for listening in general. We really do appreciate it. Go Bucks, and we will talk to you next time.